comic. The dog she's watching kept her up all night because they had the shits. It took her 6 espressos and 2 green teas to get here, so please be kind. Give it up for Tessa Fixter, Coniglio.
It actually did take me that amount of talking to get here. So if my hands shake, it's because of that, not because I have stage fright, but I also have stage fright. So here we are, Drunk 2.0 reboot. But you know, I'm not really surprised because the US loves nothing more than a reboot. But what I guess we haven't figured out is that the reboot is always worse than the first one by like a long shot. So yeah, but I'm only there's a silver lining here in that Schadenfreude. Just the other day, this guy who had been tweeting like a maniac about how excited he was that all of the federal jobs were getting cut, while his wife was a federal employee. He had been tweeting that that the federal employees were like deep state, and everybody knew that. It was notorious. But he should have known that's not the case because his wife was a nurse at the VA. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I should have more sympathy for people because Trumpers are people too. But unlike the US weaponry to Israel, my empathy comes with conditions. That's what happened in 2024. The Cybertrucks look like panthers, so we all should have seen it coming. Do you think the liberals that have the like tasteful Teslas are gonna get rid of them now? I feel like they won't. I feel like they still like their comfort more than anything else. But I do think they want to be perceived as good people. So they're going to start plastering their yard, their house, their window with, "In this house, we believe." And then they're going to put it on their bumper sticker and say, "In this Tesla, we believe." And nobody's going to know. And then they'll also put a brat sticker on it so they know they didn't vote for him. But yeah, I do wonder after like Adolf Musk came around if that really changed their mind about something they should have gotten rid of 5 years ago, when he started tweeting conspiracy theories, started hating trans people, started going on anti-Semitic rants. I feel like that was the time you should have gotten rid of your Tesla, but never better now than a Sea Kyle. I feel like one way we can do some peaceful, nonviolent resistance would be if all the trans folks went and hotwired the Cybertrucks. And because you can control it from a remote. I am ashamed to say I rode in a Cybertruck this Christmas. My friend, this is how I found all this shit out. I don't know if you knew this. My best friend from high school, we went out to dinner. She showed up at the door and she goes, "Tess, look outside." And I pulled back the curtain. I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." I was like, "We're not going to dinner anymore, sorry." And so then I got in the Cybertruck because I hadn't seen her in a long time, and you know, I'm gonna have some repentance to do. But then I found out that Cybertrucks give light shows on the outside, and you can also play music on the outside to torture everybody further and to just really affirm that you're a douchebag. But what I was thinking was for the resistance is that all the trans folks could go and hotwire it to play Chappelle Roan nonstop and make the light show rainbows. But they can't control it, and they'll short circuit, and then eventually drive them to a tree. Although I would feel sad for the tree, because, conditional empathy 2025. I did think that, when I was studying Nazism, that I would definitely be a part of the resistance, and I'm all for the resistance. And so that's why I'm like super excited that I get the opportunity to flee to France. For a while, I was like hesitant. My fiance's French. And he's been wanting to go back for a while. His whole family's there, and it's just like nicer than here. They don't have Trump, although the world has Trump now, so sorry. But I was the one that was hesitant to go because I thought it would be the nail in the coffin of my screenwriting career. But then I realized I'm at the point in my follow your dream journey where between being a yoga instructor or serial killer. I was leaning towards serial killer because I would at least get the TV show I've always wanted. But then I realized I don't have to give up on my dreams. Emily in Paris is in English. So I could be like Emily in Paris and bring my American perspective to TV like she did to marketing. Because we all know that the world wants more American perspective. America, we don't just colonize your land, we colonize your TV. So I had an idea that I would pitch to them, that it would be, and I would just, re-emphasize that I'm bringing my American perspective, so it would be Emily in Paris, a reboot. And it would be called Emily in Paris, The Streets. It will follow Emily's transformation from bougie marketing exec to Antifa street fighter. Or, as Emily likes to say, from Chanel to Diesel. Or I could learn French. I am taking French lessons, and we have to do homework. And these books are updated every year, I think. And we have to do translations, and here's one that we had to translate. I'm going to read it to you out loud. Okay. In 10 ans, don't worry, I'm not going to read it in French. I'm not an asshole yet. Not until I move to France. In 10 years, I will spend my time between Paris, New York, and Los Angeles. I will have an apartment in each city, and I will go on vacation in the Caribbean every winter. I won't need to take my driving test because self-driving cars will exist. I will overcome my fear of robots, and I will have a robot who will clean my house. When I'm in my 40s, I will still look young and healthy. I will run in the park every morning. I will be able to work from home all of the time. My friends will come and visit me where I live. My friends in my life will be great. I hope that I die when I'm 95 in my sleep. And if this was written anytime recently, what maniac wrote that? So we also had to do our own, in 10 years. So bear with me, I'm gonna read something again. Just pretend I am a slam poet. In 10 years, I will be living as a refugee in a crowded camp in Canada for Americans fleeing civil war. I won't go on vacation because I'm a refugee. Anyway, the Caribbean will no longer exist due to American colonialism. I don't have to take my driving test because my car was blown up by a bunch of MAGA militants before I crossed the border into Canada on a dark, stormy night. I won't overcome my fear of robots because they will have killed my family and taken away all of my employment opportunities. When I'm in my 40s, I will look haggard, gaunt, and faint because war, poverty, and the lack of affordable food will have worn me down. I won't run in the park every morning because I'm severely malnourished, and so I'd faint. I won't be able to work at home because the robots do the work, and I have no working papers as I am a refugee. Besides, I live in a tent, so there is no Wi-Fi. The best I can hope for is selling my empty sardine tin cans to other refugees at an exploitative upcharge. I have no friends to visit me because they were either killed in the American Civil War Reboot Edition or were disappeared. At least in my refugee, my dog can wear his love is love is love rainbow shirt and not get killed by a pack of right-wing Yorkies. Anyways, my life will be bleak and hopeless, and I will beg for death to come swiftly as well. Also, preferably in my sleep. So I did read that to the class. Didn't get the big laughs I was expecting. A lot of blank stares. And my teacher goes, "Oh, well, that is a sad story." And I said, "Yeah, c'est la vie. But yeah. Speaking of, no, skipped one. I was raised Catholic. Hard pivot now. I'm gonna give you some relief from our current state of affairs. I was raised Catholic, and you know, Sunday school, Sunday church, confession, ritual cannibalism of Jesus. And you're supposed to get the 7 sacraments, but after the ritual cannibalism came into play, I started to have my doubts. So I only made it to 3, communion, which is where that starts, eating the body and the blood. And so I only made it to 3 because I'm virtuous and I just didn't want to go to class or confession. Before I stopped, when I was supposed to get confirmed, I told my parents that no. They weren't pleased, and all the way up through college, they would tell me at the dinner table, you know, you can't go to heaven unless you get all the 7 sacraments completed. And I said, it's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't really want to sit in the clouds with the dude that created this. And I'm very specific, it's a dude, because a woman would not do this, unless it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah, so, a lot of Italians are Catholic, and I am Sicilian, and I was very proud of Luigi, actually. It was like, oh yeah, you know, just like my Sicilian brother, and he was doing a little waste management. And when I saw this amazing tweet, right after that happened that said, we're about to find out if Italians are white or not. And I told Pascal that if I sent that to my dad, he would say, we're not. And I wasn't actually going to send it to my dad, it was just an observation I made. And then later in the day, I just sent it to my dad. And he wrote back, I shit you not, we're not. He goes, we're paisan. And I was like, okay. He then went on to say that the biggest insult as a kid that you could give, that people threw punches over, was, that is mighty white of you. So anybody that annoys me, I'm going to start going and saying like this, that's mighty white of you. And I'm going to say it to people that aren't even white. Because I'm inclusive. I'm gonna start also, because we don't have the best track record, I'm gonna start rolling with it, and I'm gonna not put my forms white anymore. I'm just gonna put on paisan. And, you know, because that's now what I identify as, so it's kind of like Rachel Dolezal reboot edition. That's all I got.
Keep it going for Tessa